Okay, good morning, everybody. It's Cherie from Elevate My Clinic. I hope you're having a fantastic morning. We've been watching what's been happening in Brisbane, and we really feel for you guys, the clinic owners up there who've had to close their business. I know it's only a few days, but still, it really affects our business if we have to close the doors. And it takes a long time for us to get back on track. So we've got some suggestions, we've got some tips, and we've got some great strategies that you can implement into your clinic and be doing now while you're sitting at home waiting for your doors to open again, because it's a great opportunity to do quite a lot of planning. There's some different strategies that we've got, some great tips. Let's get started. All right, awesome. So apart from the main obvious challenge that you're facing right now, your doors are closed, and your doors are closed. You obviously can't do sales. It's fantastic if you can do online sales. That's a great way to keep earning money, being able to sell products online. So that might be something you want to look into down the track. But the second thing is, so obviously you're not able to make any sales, your business is closed, your doors are closed, and you're sitting at home wondering what to do. So one of the biggest challenges you're going to have is, so you're sitting at home, guess who else is sitting at home? Your clients. Okay, you realize that. Your clients are sitting at home, surfing the net, looking on social media. Do you have an online presence, and are you actively online? Because if you're not, they're going to be looking at your competitors. Don't panic, because there's a lot we can do to help you there. But having an online presence is really, really important, especially in these times when people are, on their phones or on their laptops. 70, I think nearly 80% of people are now looking at websites on their phone. So, making sure your website is mobile responsive is really, really important. The second challenge you're having, or you're going to have, is that your team are going to start to lose momentum and interest. And it takes a long time to get them back into, once the doors open again, you're getting them excited again. There is that gap between, the doors closing and trying to get them back into, the momentum and the really positive feel of the clinic. And the third challenge, now this is one that we really struggled with as a clinic, when I had my clinic, is the gap when you have, public holidays or a long period of time where your doors are closed. And it really affects your cash flow. And I know when I, was watching our cash flow and watching our numbers, having something like Easter, which is, a whole bunch of public holidays, you've still got to pay team wages, you've still got to pay your overheads, you've still got all the bills, but obviously your doors aren't open. And it's a really hard time for a clinic, and it takes a long time to get back on board. So you think about, you've got 3 days of lockdown, or 4 days of lockdown, and then you've got all of the Easter public holidays. So you want to be making sure that when your doors open up again, you hit the ground running with some great strategies and you're ready to go, because you do not want that gap. The gap is a killer for clinics, and it is it's the reason we have seen so many clinics have to close their doors, because of that cash flow gap. And it's really, really tough on clinic owners. So I really want you to stay focused and keep the momentum going. Now is a great time for you to stop, take a look at your business. We're just today finishing the first quarter of the year, and holy moly, it's been absolutely crazy. Crazy times. But I tell you, it's a great industry. We're very fortunate to be in this industry, because people cannot travel overseas. They have the money and they want to look better and they want to feel better. So, it's a great industry to be in, but you've got to be a step ahead. You've got to be on the ball and keep the momentum going. So I'm going to encourage you to start 3 plans, and we'll cover those shortly. But and the importance of actually having 3 specific plans is that it looks at different areas of your business. Because if you just go, oh, well, I'll just build momentum by doing a whole bunch of marketing, well, that's great. And we're going to talk about that today. But if you're not doing anything to look at your your plan for you as a clinic owner or your team's plan, then you're missing, the other 2/3 of your business. You're missing the big picture. So I encourage you to do 3 plans, and I apologize for the huge wordy slide. It's not what we normally do, but this was a rush to get this done because we really wanted to be able to help clinics in Brisbane who are struggling with lockdown. So you can screenshot it or whatever. But first of all, we need to have a team plan. As we said, one of the biggest challenges you're going to face is your team start to lose momentum, and hopefully you don't want them wandering. You don't want them wandering to your competitors or to somebody else who looks online like, they've got it all together, or they're, having a whole bunch of fun. So one of the first things that you can do, reach out to your team, check in with them, make sure they're okay, and then do some of the fun stuff. So, share stories in lockdown, what's happening in lockdown. It's really great for morale, even creating, an online team meeting and screenshotting that. And, you could do your fancy dress or something like that, or your favorite wig or whatever it is. Make it fun, because if you can make it fun, they will stay interested in your business. Book in daily calls. It's great that it's only 3 days, but I recommend booking in daily calls with your team. As I say, do a check-in, check to see that they're okay. Now is a great time to do your performance reviews. As I said, we're at the end of the quarter, the first quarter. Now if you haven't started doing performance reviews, now is a great time to start doing performance reviews. And if you need some help with that, reach out to us, because we have got very, very good at training clinic owners to do really amazing performance reviews and getting the best out of your team. Really, really important. Have a look at their figures for the past 3 months. What have been their sales? What have been their product sales? What have been their client numbers? Their average dollar sale? All of these figures are really, really important. Even just checking in with them and asking, how do they feel, about their role? Is there anything that they would change, or is there anything that they would want to see happen in the clinic? When I had my clinic, I had the most amazing team, and every time we had a team meeting, the girls came up with the great ideas. Your team will have so many great ideas. And then once you know where the gaps are, then you can actually start to plan with your team for the next quarter and actually go, okay, look, I can see that your product sales are down. Let's have a look at doing some sales training. And again, we can help you with some sales training. So first of all, look at the numbers of your team, book in your daily calls or your daily performance reviews. Even send them something beforehand. An agenda is a great way to get the most out of your meetings. And then put a plan in place for the next quarter. So once you've worked out the gap, put a plan in place to reduce the gap between where they are now and where they should be. Sorry, I've got the hiccups. Do they need sales training? Again, we can talk to them about sales training. And also a really great idea with your team is to book in a team Zoom meeting and talk to your team about, events, goals for the business, goals for the team, some rewards, incentives if you're going to put them in place or already have them in place. And again, we can help you with that, because that can be really tricky for a clinic owner, is knowing how to set up an incentive program. Are you going to have some new treatments or products? What is happening next in the next quarter? So if you think about, in the next quarter, we've got winter. So, even getting some great ideas for promotions from your team, running a really great Zoom meeting with your team. So that should be some really great tips for you for putting a plan together for your team. Now, a plan for you. And if you haven't stopped in the past and looked at how you're running your business, then now is the perfect time. Now is a great time to actually think about, what are the goals and the targets, and what do you want to achieve from your business? You're not in business you're in it for love, but you're not there to just, churn things over. What do you want from your business? What was the main reason? What was your why that you went into business? Sometimes as a business owner, we get off track, and we lose momentum ourselves, and things don't work, or the team doesn't work, or there's issues with the team, or whatever it is, and we start to lose momentum and lose faith, and we forget why we started a business in the first place. So really, really important, to check that you are on track to creating the clinic that you've always imagined. It's one reason we work with clinic owners. So taking time out to review yourself. Have a look at your business, have a look at the numbers, as I said, the number of sales, the number of clients, average dollar sale, total number of products sold. That's really interesting. The different number of treatments sold by group. So it could be facial treatments, it could be waxing treatments, IPL treatments, whatever it is. Have a look at the different numbers. And then actually looking as a clinic owner, do you want to be focusing on the particular treatments that are the high numbers? I know when I was a clinic owner and I did this great exercise, I actually stopped and looked at our numbers. I realized that my team were working really, really hard on waxing clients. We had a huge amount of waxing clients, and that was not where I wanted the business to go. I wanted the business to be set up as a clinic, and we were doing so many waxing treatments. And looking at the profit margins, looking at the profit margins on all of your treatments, on all of your products. This is really great information as a clinic owner to start to look at if you haven't already. Now is a really good time to look at it. Inventory turnover days. This was one that was really interesting for me as a clinic owner. So the number of days that your stock is sitting on the shelf. So this is a really important figure for a clinic, because if you can put strategies in place to actually turn your products over quicker than the actual invoice comes in, it's actually a really great way, cash flow wise, to run your business. So you are actually getting the money in from the client for the product before you even have to pay the invoice. And looking at those particular stock numbers is really, really clever. So now you have the time. You're in lockdown, you're in your pajamas. Now is a great time to start really looking at your numbers, your inventory turnover days. So the other thing you can start looking at is, how has your marketing, what has been the response from your marketing? If you're doing online marketing, that's fantastic. It's a lot easier to track. If you're doing offline marketing, you can also track your strategies, and that's really important too, to be making sure you are testing and measuring all of your marketing strategies to make sure that you are getting the best responses from your marketing, and making sure that they're an investment, not an expense. Because if you are not reviewing them, your marketing is an expense, not an investment. You need to be making sure that you're covering your acquisition costs with your marketing, and you need to make sure that your strategies are working. Really, really important. What's worked, what hasn't worked, and then what is the plan for the next quarter? And we'll talk about that in a bit. In a little bit as well. If you're not getting results from your marketing, we have a fantastic marketing training about the 3 things that you can change in your marketing to get hot leads. So again, be looking for some of these trainings. We've got them on our Instagram and Facebook pages, so have a look around for those. When it comes to supporting your team, what could you improve on? Now is a really good time to really analyze how you've been as a clinic owner. Have you been supporting your team? Our team are amazing. My team is amazing. Have you been supporting your team and encouraging them and giving them the high fives to say, well done? Maybe now's a really good time to stop and go, guys, look, thank you so much for the last quarter. You've done amazing. We've got some really exciting things happening. When it comes to rewarding them, what are some of the things that you're doing to reward them? And this is a really interesting one too. For clinic owners that we speak to, they say to us time and time again, our incentives don't work. And then when we actually ask the team, are they even interested in the incentives that are being offered? So take the time, and the majority of the time is they're not really that interested. So take the time to understand what drives your team. What are they motivated to do? Is it to go sailing? I mean, we took the team sailing. That was one of our incentives. Some it could be cash, some it could be vouchers. But ask your team what motivates them. What incentive would they like to see in place? How is your communication being with your team, with your reps, with your suppliers? I know it can be a frustrating time. Has your communication been a little bit sharp, a little bit short? Remember, you want to build the community and you want to build a supportive community. Think about how you're communicating with your team. And this is another really, really important one, is review your time. There are so many times that we forget that, uh, it's a day goes by, it's been absolutely crazy, and you get to the end of the day and think, what have I got done today? And I haven't even done half the things that I needed to do today. So reviewing your time and how you manage your time is really, really important, because time is so limited. Are you working on the business, not in the business? Really, really important as a business owner to be working on the business, because if you're not, there is nobody actually helping to move the business forward. There is no one keeping the momentum going. And if you are actually taking time today and time during lockdown, then you can actually take time now to review your time and get better at managing your time. Put time in your diary, whether it's an hour, half an hour a week, to review your numbers, half an hour a week to review your team's numbers, whatever it is. Put time in your diary to make sure that you're using your time efficiently. And I know what you're going to say, that being a clinic owner, I save costs if I can actually work in the business. And yes, you can, but on the flip side, you're costing your business because nobody is actually moving it forward. Really, really important. Take the time to review your time and your time management. So what is your plan for the next quarter? This is a great one for your team. When you've worked all this part of your plan out, is to let your team know what are some of the new, are you getting some new team members? What promotions are you running for the next quarter? Remember, we're coming into winter, and there's some great winter promotions that you could be running. Reach out to your suppliers. Not all of your suppliers are going to be in the same state, so some of them will still be open and running. So reach out to them, reach out to your reps, find out what promotions the product companies are doing in the next quarter. When I had my clinic, we had monthly meetings with the reps. And in that meeting, we would find out for the next quarter, what are the promotions, what are the products, what are the things that are coming up that we can actually use in our promotions. So that way our promotions are tied in to the product companies. Really great strategy. What sales training have you got planned for you, for your team? Sales training is so important for your team. Weekly sales training, even if you just add a tip a week, a sales tip a week, how to overcome buying objections, how to break it down into bite-sized chunks. We have just run some great sessions about how to win more sales. So again, you can be watching that during your lockdown. What is your marketing plan for the next quarter? When did you last actually stop and review your customer delivery process? So from when the customer, even before they come in the door, what is the customer journey throughout your business today? And interestingly, when you stop and think about it, what is the customer delivery for your competitors? Because if you have the same customer delivery process or journey, so when your customer comes in your clinic and they're looked after by your team and there's a consultation, then they go into their treatment room, if your process is the same, then your clients will be basing their decisions on where to go based on who has got the cheapest promotion running. They are not loyal to you because you don't have that point of difference. So what is your point of difference in your customer journey? How, if you haven't read the E-Myth, it's a fantastic book about your processes, a really good book to read. Maybe you could get the Kindle version and be reading that right now. It's a really great book. Every business owner should have read the E-Myth. So is your process the same? Because if it is, people are basing their decisions on price and who is the cheapest. So what else is your point of difference? What else do you do? When I had my clinic in Sydney, we had 14 competitors within 2 blocks of the clinic. So we had to be that step ahead. We had to make sure that we were a step ahead all the time. We couldn't be lax, because if we were laxed, we would fall behind and clients would go to our competitors. So really, really important. Now's a really good time to also review your expenses. There's different ways that you can actually reduce your expenses, and we can talk to you about that as well if you need some help, because obviously looking at cost cutting is a great way to help you in these crazy times. Okay. Really, really important. If you haven't understood from today, know your numbers. Get to know your numbers. Book in regular meetings with your team. Even be talking to your team and building some promotions about for when you open back up again. Even letting your clients know. Actually, I haven't mentioned this today. This is really, really important. Have some promotions for when the doors open up again, and be telling your clients and reaching out to your clients now and saying, hey guys, we're running this promotion. If you want to be the first one in, book now. We're only giving it to the first 10 people to book in. I mean, you can be still taking bookings, or you can still be taking, with all the online systems nowadays, there are so many opportunities to take your business online. You could be getting bookings right now, getting people booked in, so that way when your doors open up again, you hit the ground running. It's not about, oh, okay, now we have to try and build the momentum back and try and get the business back on board, try and get the clients back in. It's a lot harder than if you actually full plan and start getting them in right now. Book regular meetings, find the gaps in your team's numbers, find the gaps in your business numbers, and then build a plan to reduce them. And again, we can help you to reduce the gaps in your business so you can grow and scale faster. We are on Instagram, we're on Facebook. Join us. We are running a lot of training sessions, and we have some really exciting things coming up. We've also got our one-day intensives. Join us in Perth and Sydney in May, and you will love it. There will be a whole bunch of strategies that we've talked about today, but we'll actually be building them. So a really great opportunity to get some things to take a day out and get some things built for your business, sales and marketing plans. All right, guys, have a fantastic day, and hopefully this helps the people in lockdown and other states. If they go into lockdown, be lockdown plan ready. All right, guys, we'll see you later.